exploring the unknown, pursuing the truth. Welcome to II Myth Animation's channel.
Today we are going to tell a horror story, an urban legend from Hong Kong in the East. This legend has been circulating for more than 20 years. Parents with young or sensitive children, please watch together with them. In the elevators of Shun estate, you may encounter a girl with no head, who wears a long-sleeved t-shirt and long pants, standing alone in the corner. The lights are always dim. You cannot see her face, but you can feel her watching you even though she has no eyes. Since the 1980s, this story has been passed down by word of mouth among the residents of Shun estate. But what is even more chilling is that in February 2005, this legend actually became a public reality. On the 2nd of February 2005, on the 20th floor of Li Chang House in Shun estate, a 16-year-old girl was found dead inside her own home. When her body was discovered, it had no head. After receiving the report, the police quickly arrived at the scene. They searched every place they could think of, but the victim's head was never found. Once the case was made public, it immediately caused an uproar across the city. An already spine-chilling urban legend was now layered with a terrifying layer of reality, and the Hong Kong media only poured more fuel on the fire. For a time, people were filled with fear and panic. After receiving the report, the police quickly arrived at the scene. They searched every place they could think of, but the victim's head was never found. Once the case was made public, it immediately caused an uproar across the city. An already spine-chilling urban legend was now layered with a terrifying layer of reality, and the Hong Kong media only poured more fuel on the fire. For a time, people were filled with fear and panic. In 2004, a family of 4 moved into a flat on the 20th floor of Li Chang House in Shun estate, a couple with 1 son and 1 daughter. The man was named Li Chi-teng. 67 years old, he had been unemployed for many years and lived off his wife's income as a cleaner, according to neighbors. He had a violent temper and frequently abused his wife. His reason was that he suspected her of having affairs and believed their children were not his own. As a result, both of his children had a very poor relationship with him. This was especially true of his youngest daughter, Li Yuk-ping, who could barely stand to exchange even a single extra word with her father. On the morning of February 2nd, 2005, Li Chi-teng said something very strange to his son, Li Wing-shing. He claimed he had killed a triad boss and urgently needed $2,000 to leave Hong Kong and hide for a while. Li Wing-shing thought his father was talking nonsense again and left without paying him any attention. Only Li Chi-teng and his daughter, Li Yuk-ping, remained at home. Only Li Chi-teng and his daughter, Li Yuk-ping, were home. What happened that morning, no one knows. The coroner estimated Li Yuk-ping's time of death at approximately 10 a.m. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Li Yongcheng came home from outside and pushed open the door. The living room floor, the walls, the furniture, all of it was covered in blood. A blood-soaked axe lay scattered by the kitchen door. There wasn't a single soul in the apartment. Li Yongcheng rushed into the bathroom. An axe swung straight at his face. He dodged instinctively, but the blade grazed his head, splitting it open. Then someone bolted past him and ran out the door. Li Yongcheng rushed into the bathroom and saw something he would never forget for the rest of his life. On the bathroom floor lay a young girl in a t-shirt. Her head had been severed clean from her neck at the cervical vertebrae. That girl was his younger sister, Li Yuk-ping. Li Yongcheng broke down. He ran back to the bedroom and dialed 999, babbling incoherently to the police about what he had just seen. When the police arrived, Li Yongcheng was bleeding from his forehead. He was rushed to the hospital, where he fell into a coma due to post-traumatic stress disorder. After examining the scene, the forensic team confirmed the victim's neck had been hacked. Repeatedly with an axe and a kitchen knife, her left forearm was fractured. She had over 10 wounds from blades and axe blows. Within 30 minutes of her death, her head had been severed from her body. But the prime suspect, Li Qitang, had vanished without a trace. A citywide manhunt was launched. At the same time, police had to track down the whereabouts of the victim's severed head. At 7 o'clock on the morning of February 4th, a man with graying hair and pale eyebrows walked into the Mongkok police station to turn himself in. It was Li Qitang. He surrendered calmly in the interrogation room. His mind was sharp and his demeanor composed. He confessed to the entire sequence of events. He had killed his daughter, severed her head, and then attacked his son when he came home. As for the head, he said, he had casually tossed it into a trash bin on the roadside near Shanli Estate. But police had scoured every garbage bin in the area that very day. They found nothing. They didn't give up, though officers brought in cadaver dogs and searched the nearby landfill for 6 hours. Still nothing. The girl's head simply vanished. Theory number 1. The son killed his sister. Some investigators believed Li Wingxing might actually be the killer. The reasoning, he suffered from mild mental illness. Theory number 2. The father killed his daughter. Perhaps during a psychotic episode, he murdered his sister and severed her head. The fact that he was not in his right mind when committing the crime would explain why his 999 call was so incoherent. Another group of investigators leaned toward the theory that a quarrel between father and daughter escalated into a violent confrontation, and Li Qitang killed his daughter in a fit of rage, then brutally severed her head in an attempt to cover up the crime. When the eldest son suddenly returned at 3 o'clock, Li Qitang panicked and attacked him, then fled with the head intact. Surveillance footage showed Li Wingxing leaving the building with his mother at 8 o'clock that morning and only returning at 3:40 in the afternoon. A solid alibi. Moreover, if Li Wingxing had committed the murder during a psychotic episode, then upon regaining his senses, his 999 call would have been a confession, not a distressed, confused report about a crime he didn't remember committing. In the end, Li Qitang was diagnosed with delusional disorder and found guilty of manslaughter. He was committed to a psychiatric hospital for indefinite treatment. In the elevator at Shanli Estate, you may encounter a headless female ghost. She wears a t-shirt and long pants, standing alone in the corner. The lights in the elevator dim and you cannot see her face. People call her the elevator head-seeking woman, one of Hong Kong's most classic paranormal legends. But in 2005, this legend became reality. A girl was murdered in this very building. Is there anything more terrifying than that? Uncle Kwang, who works the night shift, was dozing off in the duty room in the early hours of the morning when he suddenly woke up, half asleep. He looked out through the glass and saw a girl standing by the mailboxes on the 20th floor. He grabbed a flashlight and went out to check, but there was nothing there. A family of 3 walking past that same corridor heard a girl crying behind them when they turned around. They saw nothing. In the same building, a resident's dog suddenly started barking wildly at the wall one night. No matter what the owner did, the dog couldn't be stopped. The residents of the entire building jointly requested a religious ritual to be held. The Taoist priest burned talismans and chanted spells in a lively ceremony. However, once the ritual was over, the residents began moving out the mass. The entire floor was completely emptied and has remained vacant ever since. In 2025, a Hong Kong paranormal investigation blogger, online name AP Life, a complete materialist who never believed in the existence of ghosts, conducted a live-streamed spirit investigation at Lee Chang Building. With 1,000 people watching online. Under the simultaneous gaze of over 1,000 viewers, he entered the building, going from the lobby up the stairwell floor by floor, until he reached the long abandoned corridor on the 20th floor. The live chat exploded with comments, "There's a sound! Wait, be quiet." Suddenly, although nothing was visible, he stopped. The equipment captured a low-frequency, indistinct female voice. The live stream instantly went wild. The recording went viral online, racking up hundreds of thousands of views. Some claimed it was a real spirit voice. Others insisted it was just radio interference. In the end, no definitive conclusion was ever reached. Now, 20 years after the Headless murder, the head has still never been found. Debates rage on online, and Shun estate carries on along with its urban legend. Do you think there really is something supernatural at work here, or is it all just coincidence? Let me know in the comments.